After my passing, my folks signed the organ donation forms, gifting my retinas to their cherished adopted daughter, Lily. Eventually, Lily married my own brother, finally making them a real family. Throughout my life, we were always rivals, and in the end, I was left with nothing but resentment. In this new existence, I chose to prioritize my own happiness, unexpectedly finding a happy ending. I was reborn back to the day Lily moved in with us. Had I been reborn a bit earlier, I might have been able to avert her biological parents' tragedy or even stop my parents from adopting her by any means necessary. But now that she was already part of the family, any drama would be too late. Lily was the daughter of my dad's mentor, a renowned artist who had her later in life and adored her deeply. She displayed remarkable talent in painting, but battled an unknown eye condition that caused her vision to fluctuate, putting her at constant risk of blindness. Her parents sought medical assistance extensively around the globe, but sadly died in an accident, leaving young Lily on her own. Her childhood was so bleak that when my parents first saw her, they decided to treat her as their own, even more treasured than their biological daughter, me. Ella, didn't you always want a sister? From now on, Lily will be your big sister. Are you happy? My parents, love shining in their eyes, looked at me, hoping I would fully embrace this new sister. In my previous life, at 7, I was genuinely happy. I thought I was gaining another family member and was ready to share my love with this sweet-looking girl. Little did I know, Lily was anything but sweet. She didn't want to share my parents' love. She took it all. Ella, we know you're wise beyond your years. Lily isn't strong, and though she's older, we need you to help us care for her. Can you do that? Before I could even answer, Lily's eyes filled with tears. I get it if my younger sister finds it tough to accept me. Who wants to share their family's love? Don't worry, I can go back to the orphanage. Sometimes I seriously wondered if Lily had been reborn too. How else could an 8-year-old be so manipulative? Before I could even protest, she had already painted me as the jealous one. My mom, feeling sorry, wiped Lily's tears. Lily, don't cry. It's bad for your eyes. Why do you still call us uncle and aunt? From today, we are your mom and dad. Lily lifted her innocent face, tears still sparkling on her lashes. Her look of surprised joy could make anyone feel sorry. I have a mom and dad now. In that moment, they all hugged and cried together, completely excluding me. That was Lily's magic. That night, my parents made us share a room. I lay there, unable to sleep, plotting how to become independent and leave this family. I had learned enough from my past. Once Lily entered our lives, my parents and brother became hers. Late at night, Lily quietly got up. I pretended to sleep, watching her sneak into my parents' room. Daddy, Mommy, it's so dark. My eyes hurt and I'm scared. My parents, blinded by sympathy, didn't even think about how Lily, in an unfamiliar place and with a sudden eye problem, could have found their room so easily. They just held her, tears welling up in their eyes. Lily, don't be scared. We're here. Trembling with fear, Lily snuggled into my mother's arms. Daddy, Mommy, can I really stay here? Says just. Listening made my heart drop. The next second, my dad stormed into my room without waiting for me to explain, pulling me from my pretend sleep. Pulling me from my pretend sleep? What did you say to Lily? Why can't you be mature and let her have this? She's been through so much. Don't be like that. Ella is still young. She'll understand with time. While my mom mouthed words to calm my dad, she was holding Lily tightly, not making any move to defend me. They ended up taking Lily to their room, leaving me outside in my thin pajamas. Mom used to check on me at night to make sure I was asleep, tucking me into bed before leaving. They seemed to forget I was just a 7-year-old girl who feared the dark and cold and needed her parents just as much. Lily pulled this trick often. She'd pretend her eye condition flared up. Then, during my parents' fits of compassion, she'd spread lies about me. Eventually, young me felt threatened. Since Lily came into my parents' eyes, I went from their adorable daughter to the bad girl. So I started competing with her, trying to match everything she had. Lily was a master actress, always showing a kind and gentle demeanor, constantly yielding, which only deepened their sense of indebtedness toward her. I spent my life battling Lily and still never won. Even my beloved older brother fell for her charm. The entire art world knew the Roberts family had a pitiable genius adoptive daughter, Lily, and a brash, jealous biological daughter, Ella. In this life, I decided to stop competing with Lily. I was going to live the life I truly wanted. The next morning, Lily's and my parents' laughter echoed from the dining room. I quietly went downstairs, noticing Lily sitting in my seat, using my favorite dishes. Upon seeing me, the cheerful mood shattered, as if I was the intruder. My mom's face flushed with a hint of awkwardness. Ella, why are you up so early today? Lily doesn't have her own set of utensils yet, so she used yours. How about you use your brother's set? I don't want to. I don't like taking other people's stuff. As soon as I said that, everyone could tell I was being sarcastic about Lily. Dad still seemed mad about yesterday when I bullied Lily. His usually kind face turned really sour. I glanced at the table: milk, sandwiches, bacon, and eggs, all Lily's favorites. I'm lactose intolerant, so I usually have porridge for breakfast. Oh, I forgot you can't drink milk. I'll make some soy milk for you soon, Mom quickly said, trying to smooth things over, worried about revealing how much more she cares for her adopted daughter than me. With a smack, Dad slammed his cup down and scolded irritably. Why all this fuss? You've spoiled her too much already. We're taking Lily to handle her school transfer, and there's no time to waste. In the past, a comment like that would have broken my heart, and I might have thrown a fit. But now, all I felt was numbness. I quietly sat in the corner of the table. I noticed Lily eating with a self-satisfied smile on her face. But by the time she looked up, her face was already full of sadness. Dad, don't say that about my sister. She isn't like me. She was pampered all her life. Of course, she's a little spoiled. It just means you love her a lot. My saintly parents were moved to tears again, thinking how angelic Lily is. Meanwhile, I, who had everything from the start but was still so bratty, was actually the problem. The looks they gave me were now tinged with deep disappointment. I wasn't bothered. In my past life, my relationship with Mom and Dad was almost beyond repair. I didn't care how they saw me now. I could try to please Lily and be that easygoing sister. I'd still be their good daughter and maybe get some scraps of their attention left for her. But I'd make Lily realize that the family and love she worked so hard to win mean nothing to me. When they got home after transferring Lily's school, I had already moved my stuff out of my old room and into the empty nanny's room. I wasn't giving up space for Lily's sake, just trying to keep my own private area. Dad gently patted my head and said, Ella, you're so understanding, a truly good daughter. A younger me might have been proud of that comment, but having lived it once before, I knew what he meant. I had to always accommodate Lily, sacrificing my happiness for hers, to be a good daughter. Without asking, Lily barged into my room to have a look. When she saw the entire set of art supplies my parents once bought for me, her face turned instantly pale, and she threw herself into Mom's arms, crying weakly. I want to paint like my sister with nothing to worry about. Mom looked at me with a pained expression, hesitated for ages before finally saying, Sorry, Ella. Can you put away your art supplies for Lily's sake? Here we go again. Since Lily showed up, my space has been shrinking, and eventually, even my hobbies and dreams got stripped away. It was like that in my past life, too. Lily's eyes weren't great, so she couldn't draw for long periods. I kept cutting back on my painting time. Despite being a painter's daughter, I couldn't freely buy art supplies or attend art classes because it might upset Lily. Yet, Lily could sit comfortably with Dad learning to paint. Each of her works got framed beautifully, while mine got buried at the bottom of a box. It even happened during our art school exams. Lily had a sudden eye issue and couldn't finish her test, so she swapped our names on our exam pieces. When the results came, I recognized the masterpiece with Lily's name was mine. I begged my parents to stand up for me, but all they did was hold a sobbing Lily, telling me to be forgiving. Ella, next year you can retake it, but Lily's time is running out. You know she could go blind any moment. They said it so easily. They didn't know how much time I, less talented than Lily, put into practicing, staying up late sketching in the dark until my eyes were almost ruined. I broke down and shouted. Was taking care of my parents not enough? Now she wants to take my life too. Give me back my spot, or I'll leave this house for good. My protest didn't make my parents regret anything. Instead, Dad embarrassingly slapped me. Do you think you beat her if her eyes weren't sick? You've got no talent in art. Even if you go to art school, you'll only just get by. I held my stinging cheek, shocked that my own father could say such things. In the end, Lily went in my place to art school. I became a laughingstock, the girl who lost to a blind foster sister. My dreams of art shattered, leading to an uneventful life. Living this life again, I no longer cared about painting. So, right in front of Mom and Dad, I tossed that set of art supplies in the trash. Dad's face darkened instantly, but he knew they were in the wrong, so he just left sulking with Lily. As summer arrived, my brother Jake, who studied abroad, came home to meet the famed new sister, Lily. Just like before, Jake was instantly charmed by Lily when he first met her. She wore a cloth over her face like a blind girl, feeling her way through the living room, and then coincidentally fell into his arms. Blushing red, Lily softly said, "I want to learn how to live in the dark now, so that I won't be a burden to my parents and brother when I go blind someday." Lily really knows how to talk. She subtly pushed me aside, hinting to Jake that we don't get along. Young and fiery, Jake was stunned into silence. The girl in front of him was like a delicate leading lady from a K-drama, evoking compassion. He immediately vowed in his heart to take care of Lily forever. Our parents suggested that we all go out for a day to welcome Jake back. I didn't want to join them. They were like a happy family of four. And what did it have to do with me, the spoiled, jealous, unloved little sister? But Lily just had to make things awkward for me. She hid in a corner with tears rolling down her cheeks like little pearls, saying, "Mom, Dad, you should take my brother and sister. I'm afraid I'd spoil your family reunion." Jake hurriedly wiped her tears with gentle care. "Why say that? We've been a family for a long time." Lily pretended to shy away from Jake's hand while throwing a timid look at me, silently accusing me. Jake immediately glared at me with anger. "Ella, why are you bullying Lily? You weren't like this before. What have I become? Clearly you all have changed. The mom who used to think of me at every turn, the stern but gentle dad, the brother who always protected me, all became strangers to me." I just gave a cold smile and looked straight into Jake's eyes. "Why don't you ask Lily what I did to bully her? I've already given up my room for her. What more does she want?" Lily seemed guilty when I asked her and avoided my gaze. Her fearful demeanor ignited Jake's protective instincts even more, as he yelled at me without a second thought. "It's your condescending attitude that hurts her. Lily just joined our family, so it's only right you accommodate her." Suddenly, it was like I was the enemy that needed to be fought, and Jake saw himself as the prince protecting a princess. My overly empathetic parents sided with them, saying, "Ella, your brother rarely comes home. Don't make him angry. Apologize to him and Lily." I glanced at this family whose biased behavior could be seen from the South Pole and replied firmly, "Lily can have whatever she wants because I don't care. But apologize? No way." After throwing that line, I locked myself in my room, shutting out the sound of Jake's frustrated yelling. The rest of the family went out and had a great day together, not once calling to check on me or bringing any food back for me. In my past life, I would have felt incredibly wronged, fasting or even running away just to make my parents feel guilty. But now, I know such antics are pointless and only harm my own well-being. I made myself a nice bowl of instant noodles, eating as I opened a study guide I secretly bought. Ever since my rebirth, I've been studying hard to better myself, never slacking off for a day. I decided to take control of my life this time and aim for a career in medicine. Since at 7, with the intellect of someone in their 20s from my past life, I quickly outpaced Lily in academics. Her act might work on my compassionate family, but not on the teachers. Failing grades remain failing grades. At the end of the semester, I came in first place while Lily was at the bottom. Whenever her poor grades meant teachers called in our parents, she cried and said the pressure triggered her eye condition. Yet she refused to transfer to a special school. Exam weeks always turned our home into a chaotic mess. Out of consideration for Lily's feelings, and to prevent any ridicule due to her being adopted, my overly empathetic parents decided to attend both Lily's and my parent-teacher conferences, even if our meetings were scheduled on the same day. My parents couldn't have been unaware that their favoritism caused my classmates to ridicule and bully me, calling me an unloved child. But each time they needed to sacrifice me for Lily, they trot out the same old excuse that I'd heard so much it had worn a groove in my ears. "Lily is in poor health and has had a tough life. Just let her have her way." But it didn't bother me anymore because knowledge was my greatest power. I studied ahead during my free time, and by 12, I had skipped to become the youngest high school student in our city's history. Suddenly, everyone knew about the Roberts family's genius daughter. Dad's phone rang nonstop with calls from high society wanting me to mingle or even get engaged to their children. But to spare Lily's feelings, Dad refused all those networking opportunities, not realizing how beneficial these connections could be for my future. Of course, how could I compare to his sweetheart Lily? When the admission letter came, the principal and a newspaper reporter came to our house with it, but all they were greeted with were my parents hurrying off. Lily couldn't allow me to draw my parents' attention. All she had to do was pretend to have a headache, and my parents rushed her to the hospital, not sparing a moment to greet the principal. Though I had long been disillusioned with my overly empathetic parents, in that moment I felt a twinge of disappointment and helplessness. The principal looked deep into my eyes and said earnestly, "Our school doesn't have a dormitory, but if you want to stay, you can apply and I'll arrange it." Her hand on my head was so gentle. It had been a while since I felt any warmth and care from an elder. I couldn't help but let a tear fall in front of the principal. This tear led me to find the two most important people in my life. As the start of school got closer, I couldn't wait to move out of my cold, loveless home and into the dorms. The day I left, Mom and Dad were once again sent to the hospital by Lily. Jake was home for the holidays, but didn't lift a finger to help me pack. He just watched me coldly, saying at last, "Finally, some peace and quiet around here." I loaded my last bag into the taxi without sparing Jake a second glance. The room the principal had set up for me was great. It looked like it had been a teacher's spare apartment, pretty comfy for a single person's place. I spent the whole day cleaning the dorm to make it cozy and then bought a bunch of study materials from a bookstore. Now that I was in high school, things would be harder and I needed to work even more. On the first official day of school, I wasn't surprised when the other students left me out. They heard the principal had bent the rules and set me up in a dorm, so they labeled me as having connections. "Oh wow, look, it's the 12-year-old prodigy. Does the prodigy get scared staying alone in the dorm? Maybe she'll cry for her mom at night. Let her sit by the water cooler. She might need to make some baby formula during breaks." These self-important kids pushed me away because I made them look bad. To a teenager, this stuff could be devastating, but to someone who's lived this before, it was just childish and ridiculous. Even though I was young, I was tall, so I grabbed a seat right in the middle of the classroom. Of course, this triggered more snarky comments. "Wow, must be nice being connected. Even gets to choose her seat in the center. Sitting next to her means the teacher's eye on you all the time. No thanks." Students scattered everywhere, leaving me sitting alone in the middle. I sat up straight, ignoring the snickers, and calmly opened a workbook. Right then, someone pulled out the chair next to me and sat down. A boy with long, graceful hands introduced himself. "Hey, you must be Ella, right? Nice to meet you." "Hey, you must be Ella, right? Nice to meet you. I'm Ryan. Mind if I sit here?" I gave him a quick once-over. He looked like the kind of kid who's naturally popular. "Are you sure?" I asked. "Sitting with me might make them think you're a teacher's pet." Ryan just laughed and leaned in. "Nah, they don't scare me. I'm the principal's son." Now I could see it. He did have some of the principal's features. The principal probably guessed I'd have a rough time fitting in and asked Ryan to keep an eye out for me. Warmth spread through me. Even if it was just to help the principal, I'd get along well with Ryan. After the first weekly test, I shut down the doubters with my standout scores. Pretty soon, folks came to me for help with their studies. What started out as a tough high school life soon became calm and smooth. When the weekend rolled around, the campus was practically empty except for me. I planned to hit the library, but Ryan knocked on my dorm door instead. He and the principal knew I didn't go home on weekends and didn't want me getting lonely. They specially invited me out for lunch. Living with the Roberts family, I'd learned to treasure any small kindness. The caring principal and happy-go-lucky Ryan made me feel warmth like home hadn't in ages. It's true there are people out there who genuinely care. Since day one, I spent every weekend with the principal's family. She said it was great I was dedicated to learning, but warned against being too rigid. As for the Roberts family, they seemed just fine without me. Not even a single call to ask me home. While spending time with the principal's family, I opened up and rediscovered some of the innocence and energy normal for a kid my age. The principal once gently remarked, I always wanted a daughter. I'd be thrilled if you were mine. No one knew how much that touched me. I'd overheard my dad talking to Lily in the past life. Lily, you've got a real talent for art. I wish you were my real daughter. At those memories, tears I'd held back for so long came to my eyes. Ryan flustered, tried to wipe them with his sleeve. Relax, I'm just joking. I'm not kidnapping you or anything, he said, panicking. But the principal picked up on why I was upset and asked about my family. Ryan, hearing Lily's story, was floored. Are you kidding? Your parents totally ignore their amazing real daughter for her. They must be under some spell or something. Come on, she has an eye issue but isn't blind. Why does she always get her way? The principal gave Ryan a playful tap, telling him to watch his words. Then she hugged me like a mom would, gently saying, "From here on, consider yourself my goddaughter. A wonderful kid like you they may not want, but I do." I cried hard in her arms, while Ryan mumbled jokingly, "So, if she's your daughter now, that would make us siblings, huh?" High school turned out to be the most relaxing time of my life. Most summer and winter breaks, I'd stay in the dorms, claiming I was studying. My parents and the Roberts family didn't bother much with me. I heard they spent time shuttling Lily to doctors and making sure she went to all sorts of extra classes, neglecting even the family business at times. Even my allowance got cut. But thanks to reaching financial independence early, I could live comfortably without a penny from them. From a young age, I had an eye for investing in art. But in my past life, Dad and Lily convinced me that mixing art and money was shameful. They talked the talk, but secretly sold art I'd picked and made a profit without ever sharing a dime with me. This time around, I was quick to see through them, so I only trusted my school principal mom to help me invest. Watching the numbers in my bank book grow brought me a sense of peace like never before. Having the ability to support yourself really is the most important thing. This weekend, the principal and Ryan set aside time to take me for a picnic at the nearby park. The principal went to park the car, and Ryan and I went ahead to secure a spot on the lawn. I was excited for the day, but my good mood vanished when I saw the Roberts family heading our way. Lily was clinging to Jake's arm at the front, and following them were the long-lost saintly parents. They saw me, and their bright smiles froze. Lily, upon seeing me, timidly hid behind Jake as if I was going to eat her. She looked like a weak little flower, which triggered Jake's protective instincts, and he glared at me fiercely. "You always claimed you were studying. Turns out it was a lie." Lily noticed Ryan walking beside me and bit her lip with a hint of resentment. "Ella, are you on a date with your boyfriend? Your parents are so worried about you, and you don't even come home during the holidays. You've changed since starting high school." My saintly parents were shocked, staring at me and Ryan. "Ella, you're so young and already lying to us because of a guy. Are you trying to drive us crazy? Why can't you be as obedient as Lily?" They took turns throwing criticisms at me, not giving me a chance to explain. Even though Ryan was aware of how biased the Roberts family was, he was still stunned by their barrage. Just then, the principal returned from parking. My parents saw her and quickly put on a friendly face, not a hint of their earlier hysteria. Lily, knowing she would be applying to high schools next year and wanting the principal's help, especially with her grades not being great, relaxed her grip on Jake and tried to play nice. I knew Ella wouldn't lie to us. The Roberts parents also came around, apologizing with awkward smiles. They were mainly afraid of offending Ryan, and I was just a side thought. "Principal, thank you for taking time out to bring Ella out on a weekend." Ryan couldn't hold back a smile of disbelief at the family's quick change of attitude. "Ella's folks, can you guess why we're out here for a picnic?" Jake, noticing Lily's gaze fixated on Ryan, spoke more harshly. "Why else? The weather's nice. We brought Lily out for some sun." He trailed off when he noticed the cake Ryan was holding. Yep, not a single person from the Roberts family remembered today was my birthday. I couldn't help but smirk. "Aren't you worried about me, Mom and Dad? How could you forget my birthday? Last month you threw a whole party for Lily." With each sentence, my mom's expression grew more uneasy. She struggled to speak, but couldn't utter a word. As for my dad and Jake, they were too stubborn to admit they favored Lily, always claiming they treated both daughters equally. "It's because you never come home for the holidays. We wanted to celebrate, but We couldn't if you're not here. Ryan stepped forward, shielding me with a slightly hostile look at my family. Couldn't celebrate, but you could always give Ella a gift. What did you prepare for her? Just some empty promises. The Roberts family hadn't prepared any gifts at all. Seeing their guilty expressions start to surface, Lily, like a faucet, began to cry on cue. Ella, don't blame Mom and Dad. It's all my fault. If I weren't so frail, they wouldn't worry so much and forget your birthday. It's right to hate me. I'm better off dead. As she sobbed, she stumbled towards us, but both Ryan and I instinctively stepped aside, letting her fall awkwardly on the ground. Lily, being the center of the Roberts family's adoration, even a minor scrape had them heartbroken. Jake was the most impulsive and rushed to slap me. Did you push Lily? But the slap didn't land on me. Ryan, who often worked out, blocked it solidly. Ryan, tall and strong, held onto Jake effortlessly. The principal looked seriously at my parents, her sharp gaze condemning their failure as parents. I clearly saw the girl fall on her own. How can you hit Ella without proof? You treat her like this and blame her for not coming home? Isn't that ridiculous? The principal left them with those words, taking Ryan and me away from the Roberts family. Both the principal and Ryan worried I'd lose interest in celebrating my birthday because of this chaos, but I'd long since given up on them. What mattered more was making cherished memories with those who truly cared about me. We shared the cake by the scenic lakeside. The principal gifted me a brand new backpack, while Ryan gave me a handmade bracelet. Thinking about clumsy Ryan trying to make a bracelet made me laugh, making him blush and jump around embarrassed. 2 years flew by, and I was about to graduate from high school. To completely step away from the Roberts family, I decided to study medicine abroad. My grades were excellent, so the university was offering me a full scholarship. When the acceptance letter arrived at home, the Roberts family finally found out I planned to attend college abroad. I thought my overly religious parents would blame me for making decisions on my own, like they always did before. Surprisingly, their attitude towards me had changed drastically. They were sweet and caring, even calling me a worry-free kid. Turns out, with Lily having medical treatments and extra tutoring for a fancy high school, the Roberts family was financially drained. They somehow caught wind of my investments in art galleries with the principal over the years. They shamelessly asked me, their underage daughter, for money. I cast a bemused glance at Jake, whose art degree left him idle and draining the family's finances. The family's out of money. Why doesn't my brother get a job? I said. Lily rushed to defend her beloved. Jake was taking care of me. He turned down several job offers because of me. She was now calling him Jake instead of brother. Without my interference, Lily and Jake became a couple sooner in this life. From my bag, I took out a prepared bank card. Since my rebirth, I had tracked every penny the Roberts family spent on me. It included my parents' retirement funds, all loaded onto this card. Dad, Mom, just so you know, this money is for your retirement. If you give a cent to Lily, consider me done as your daughter. The room tensed immediately. Lily collapsed helplessly into Jake's arms, looking devastated. My dad, furious, knocked the card to the ground and stomped on it angrily. He scolded me, pointing. Then leave. No way we have such a cold-hearted child in the Roberts family. Without hesitation, I took my signed certificate and left. As I reached the door, I heard Lily and Mom crying as if I was the cause of this family drama. I couldn't help but gaze at each phony face in the Roberts family with cold disdain. Am I cold-hearted? Have you noticed that ever since Lily came, I haven't been in any family photos? Mom and Dad stared blankly at the frame in the living room center. They hugged Lily and Jake with kind smiles. I was left out just as this house had no space for me. Dragging my tired body back to the dorms, interacting with the Roberts family always left me irritated, feeling uneasy. To my surprise, Ryan waited outside my door. He leapt up with excitement but started nervously pacing when our eyes met. Finally, Ryan, a bit embarrassed, waved his acceptance letter. Ella, let's go abroad together. All preparation for going abroad was skillfully handled by the principal. Only she and Ryan truly cared about me. Before leaving, I had a heart-to-heart with the principal all night. She saw Ryan's special feelings for me, but assured me that regardless of how things went with Ryan, I'd always be her favorite daughter. In college, I had no more ties to the Roberts family, but they seemed to use the bank card just fine. From old friends, I heard news about the Roberts family, but they seemed to use the bank card just fine. From old friends, I heard news about the Roberts family hitting a snag. Lily's eye condition flared during her art college exam. Without me, she switched her name onto another student's well-drawn paper. Lily then whined convincingly to get Dad, influential in the art circle, to cover it up. Unluckily, the paper belonged to one of the main examiner's students. The scandal revealed adoption without artistry ethics, and Lily was disqualified. Dragging Dad's reputation down in the art world, all of Lily's artwork became suspect for ghostwriting. Her sickly genius girl image was questioned, and many buyers demanded refunds. Ironically, my saintly dad, who adored Lily, seemed to snap out of the spell named Lily. Perhaps his true affection lay in the prestige of raising her. Unable to cope, Lily moved in with Jake. They soon got engaged. Jake sent me an invitation, but I wasn't about to send a gift or fly back to attend. Another 3 years went by, and Ryan and I graduated and returned home. I started studying under a renowned medical professor while Ryan founded his company, helping the retired principal with her gallery's business. Life was busy and turning at the hospital, but I always found time to see Ryan. Life felt full and happy, but one day, an uninvited guest shattered this peace. Jake and Mom burst into my professor's office, hysterically shouting, "Ella, you have to save Lily!" So Lily's eyesight kept getting worse, and now she's almost blind. She just couldn't handle the blow and tried to end her life a few times, but Jake stopped her each time. "Ella, you're studying medicine now, and your mentor is so amazing. You guys must be able to cure Lily." Mom cried her heart out, wailing that if something happened to Lily, she wouldn't want to live either. The professor, understanding the situation, revealed that Lily's condition was extremely rare, and that successfully treating it was unheard of. Jake and Mom had heard this before. After all those years of seeking help for Lily, they had to know the reality, right? But clearly, they'd lost it. And they pushed and shoved me without a second thought. "How could you be so heartless? Are you just going to watch Lily die?" I told them, "She's been bullying Lily since we were kids. Of course she won't help. You can't even save your own family. What's the point of studying medicine? Someone as selfish as you doesn't deserve to be a doctor, is he?" I've had a lot of folks unhappy with me, especially considering the professor's favoritism. Now there was a crowd outside the office, all too eager to see me thrown out because of this mess. I slapped Jake without hesitation. His face swelled up within seconds, causing Mom and the onlookers to go silent. Selfish? Heartless? Me bullying Lily? You all said Lily was to be pitted, so I gave her my room and lived in the servants' quarters. You said she needed care, so I went to school alone since I was 7. You said her treatment was a priority, so I got scholarships and didn't use any of the family's money. When Lily sneezed, the whole family rushed her to the hospital, but when I had a 102-degree fever, no one cared. You attended only Lily's parent-teacher meetings and remembered only her birthdays. Anything she wanted, I had to give up, even my parents. Sure, she's unfortunate, but I didn't cause her tragic life or illness. You question if I should be a doctor? Every book I've used was self-bought. I got into school on my own, found my own teachers. You've never cared about me a bit, and you think you have the right to be a mother. Years of grievances poured out in that moment. The crowd's judgment shifted, and they turned on Mom and Jake. Mom seemed to age in an instant. Maybe she thought she balanced everything well, but one cup was empty, and the other overflowed. Unburdened, I thought to call security to have them thrown out. Peace returned to the hospital, but from that day, colleagues seemed to look at me with newfound respect. Through hard work, I became the youngest attending physician in our hospital's history. At the same time, the gallery I co-founded with the principal really took off. Ryan and I aren't big on material possessions, so we donate much of our earnings to help girls forced to drop out of school in rural areas. I sometimes send my parents a small allowance, but that's our only connection. Later, I spotted Lily on the street. She was totally blind, walking alone with a white cane. With Jake working, she seemed back with the Roberts family. Once she looked at me with the eyes of a victor. Now her face was colorless and defeated. The Roberts family once coddled her every whim, but now she's left to fend for herself. When a kid tried tossing rocks on Lily's path, I kicked them away. I don't pity Lily. She's brought this on herself. If she hadn't cheated during the art exams, maybe she would still be celebrated as the brave, resilient genius like in the past. The Roberts family might still love her like before. Even though I'm content with my life now, I'm not forgiving Lily for everything she did. I called Ryan, asking him and the principal to dinner. The whole Roberts family drama doesn't matter anymore. These two, they're my real family, the most important people in my life. I have a career I love and people to trust with my life and caring elders. This happiness is mine alone, and no one can take it away. Sat.